Today I'm going to be reviewing. Today the MC Marathon continues with the movie Iron Man 2, directed by Jon Favreau. This stars Robert Downey Jr., Gwyneth Paltrow, Sam Rockwell, Don Cheadle, and Mickey Rourke. Also Scarlett Johansson. I forgot about that. This movie is a sequel to the first Iron Man, and it takes place where Tony Stark is basically dying, and he's facing the consequences of his actions on revealing himself that he is Iron Man. And someone from the past, his father's past, in fact, comes true and seeks revenge. And the Iron Man suit is basically like he's fighting the government and he's also dying. And the rival company Hammer Industries is wants to compete. So there's a lot of stuff. Then we have Black Widow introduced. So there's a lot of mixed in subplots, which is this movie's kind of criticized for that, but I personally thought it was okay. Yeah, the story is kind of muddled, is kind of confused. They don't. They should just focus on one element, and this movie feels kind of messy because of that, and it doesn't feel as good as the first Iron Man because it doesn't is not sure what it wants to be exactly. But to be fair, this movie is perfectly fun. This all this introduced Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow, and she does a good job. She does a lot of despite stuff, but to be fair, this is not where she elevates the most. It's in fact the Russo brothers are the ones to make her the great character she is now. But let's not talk about that. Overall, in this movie, she was fine. Robert Downey Jr. is still great as Iron Man, and they replaced War Machine with Don Cheadle instead of Terrence Howard. And personally, I think Don Cheadle does a fine job. Sometimes he's a little hard to buy on the leader role, but I think he does a good job. Gwyneth Paltrow is a fun banter as always. Mickey Rourke is cheesy as the villain, but he's kind of likable when he says, "I want my board. That's not my board." He's so fun. I mean, he's not that good of a villain. In fact, he has a good backstory, but they don't utilize it that well. Like that's potential, and they do it well in other Marvel movies. Black Panther. They do it really well in other Marvel movies, but here they just don't touch him enough. But Sam Rockwell as Justin Hammer, dude, is fun to watch. I really wish I could see more of Justin Hammer. Yeah, we technically saw him in a short film, the Mandarin short film, but he's so fun to watch, and I kind of miss him. He elevates this movie a lot. There were three major action sequences. They were all pretty good. The action was good. The CGI, yeah, it was a little weaker than the first one, but the technology of the suits also got better, and it's fun to see the movie. Even though it's a bit weak, the cast elevated it a bit, and Robert Downey Jr. is always great. Kind of mixing my thoughts here. It's not very good. Um. Anyways, Iron Man 2 is not as good as the first Iron Man. It's kind of disappointing as a sequel, but for what it did, I enjoyed it. I really liked Iron Man 2. For that, I'm giving it a 3.5 out of 5. Next time, we're going to go to the another realm, Asgard. Wow, that was a quick transition. Yeah, you notice how they're this is gonna be hard, from science to Norse mythology. This is gonna be a hard transition, but let's see if Kenneth Branagh can bring to the table if he can bring Asgard to reality.